Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Bearbackers 2023, our first of the season. Excuse me, my voice is coming and going today, so hopefully I'll get through it. A reminder before I forget, next week will be Tuesday meeting because of Labor Day. We won't be here Monday, we'll be here on Tuesday. Good to see everyone here today. Good to get our season started off. 3 of our sports have already begun. Men's and women's soccer and volleyball already have some games under their belt. We had a busy week at home this past week, and we have a full week coming up. We'll go with the schedule first. Tonight, men's soccer plays at SMU down in Dallas. And our first Nathan Brown Coaches Show, 7 p.m. tonight at Walk-Ons. It's on the Buzz 2 also, but if you want to come out in person, it's 7 o'clock at Walk-Ons. Thursday, women's soccer plays at Little Rock, 6 p.m. Friday, the Central Arkansas Invitational Volleyball Tournament starts at the Print Center. 7 matches throughout the weekend. We play Jackson State 10 a.m. Friday and Southeastern Louisiana 7 p.m. Friday night. Also Friday, men's soccer plays at Florida International down in Miami. Saturday, our Central Arkansas Cross Country Challenge will be out at Beaver Fork Lake. The women run at 8:30, the men run at 9:10. Volleyball plays Little Rock at 1 p.m. at the Print Center. That's the first of the Governor's I-40 Showdown. And football Bears open the season at Oklahoma State, 6 p.m. over in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The game will be on ESPN Plus and Big 12 Now. Then Sunday, the Sugar Bears finish up the tournament against Colorado State at noon Sunday in the Print Center. Now let's start today with women's soccer. Our Bears faced 3 tough opponents right off the bat. They lost at UT San Antonio, Texas State, both on the road, and then Missouri State at home last Wednesday. Those 3 opponents are a combined 7-2 so far this season. So a tough schedule right off the bat. Then we faced an in-state foe, Arkansas State, last night at Bill Stevens Complex, played to a 2-2 draw. This week, as I said, we're at Little Rock on Thursday and at Oklahoma State on Sunday. And Coach Jeremy Bishop will be with us here next week, next Tuesday. Men's soccer has only played 1 official game. They had several exhibition games. They lost 2-1 to SIU Edwardsville last Thursday at the Bill Stevens Complex. Bears have a couple of nice road trips coming up, as I mentioned. Florida International this week at Miami, a home game in Memphis next Monday, and then games at Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs on September 8th, and in Denver on the 10th. Hopefully the weather will be a little nicer out there in Colorado. Again, at SMU tonight at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And Kingston, you want to come talk? Anyway, and Coach Kohlenstein, he'll be up here with us next Tuesday also. Volleyball, Coach John Newberry Sugar Bears have opened with a tough schedule as well. That sounds like a theme, doesn't it? They played at the Mizzou Classic this past Friday and Saturday up in Missouri, losing to Colgate and host Missouri and beating Illinois State. They got back to Conway at 4 a.m. Sunday morning, turned around and played Big Ten Michigan State 5 p.m. yesterday at the Fair Center. So do the math. They got in at 4 a.m., played again at 5 p.m. Awesome crowd at the Print Center yesterday. Nearly 500 people. We had to close the doors because we couldn't get anyone else in there. We were absolutely full. Great atmosphere. A lot of our student athletes came out supporting our volleyball team. We lost in 3 sets, but the second and third set were highly competitive. They were just a lot taller than we were. Simple as that. They had some very large players. And we lost a key player to injury early in the match, which didn't help. As I said, we host the Central Arkansas Invitational this weekend. We play Jackson State Friday, Southeastern Louisiana Friday, Little Rock Saturday, Colorado State on Sunday. Now let's hear from Coach John Newberry and Kingston.
Oh, you want? Okay. He said he wants to say something. All right. We just got done with his very first day of school today, ever. So with Megan Fodio, Coach Fodio's wife, over at the Learning Center. So fun day today. Yeah, it's been. I'm tired, and if I'm tired, I know the girls are more tired than I am. I don't sleep enough already, but I was extremely proud of them. We spent a good portion of our camp. I just didn't really give them much time off, as NCAA allows us to do. it's not like we went overboard, but we did push. We knew we had a tough schedule right out of the gate, and so it was important for us to get physically and mentally prepared to endure, because we knew it was going to get tougher and tougher as our schedule went on, and it did. So started out this weekend with Colgate. They've won their conference, I believe, Patriot League there. They've won their conference the last 2 years, top 75 program, and for us to go in and take the first set off them was good. I just wish we could have continued that path. They made a couple switches and finished well against us. We had some missed opportunities. Turned around, played a very big Illinois State, very, very good program. They will get a ton of wins this year. They will. So to sweep them, that was a big deal for us. I thought our girls were very resilient. They were up 24-20 in the first set against us, and then they came back. We came back and ended up winning that one 31-29. So it's fun. And then Mizzou, we get up 2-0 on those guys, and then they decided to go with the tallest people on their court, and so they could hit over the top of us. And volleyball is a height game, so you can't compete with that, much like basketball at times. So that was it was a good job by them, and I think most notable, I've got to mention a couple of 3 people real quick. First off, it comes to my mind is Allison Holloway. Played a ton her freshman year and then split some time. She's a middle blocker for us from Louisville, Kentucky. She had an incredible game. It got so good for her that they started triple blocking her, which is not normal in volleyball for her position, which means she got everybody's attention. And I was really, really proud of the way her composure was. Also, Kaylin Coons. She was one of the freshman setters of the year, nominees and award winners throughout the season last year. She's a sophomore this year. She's our setter, our quarterback, incredibly bright, extremely talented, great competitor. Had a great weekend as well. She's one of those coaches' kids. You tell her one time to do one thing, and she does it the rest of the time. So one of those coaches' dreams to have, and glad we have her on our side of the net. And then Jenna Delamater. So she's a Cabot kid. Originally committed to St. Louis University, and because of the coaching change, she was able to come here to UCA. She's doing the pre-PT. She's 32 ACT kid, incredibly bright. I hope we get the chance to bring her in here. Just a great kid. High intelligence with a lot of common sense. Sometimes that's hard to find with some of these. They're just really smart and over analytical. She's just one that really gets it. And then moving into last night, the Sugar Bears showed up on the second set. I don't know which team that was the first set. I know it was a tired team. Getting in at 4 o'clock in the morning and finally getting in bed at 5:30 it's a lot to ask for these guys. But you know, when are we going to get a Big Ten team to come in here to UCA and play in the Prince Center? That's just something you just take a risk and hope it falls your way. So the risk happened in the second and third set. The first set was not a risk. That was just bad volleyball on our side. We looked tired. I'm looking at the girls and their eyes just are kind of bloodshot, kind of hazed over. And then I think just the sheer size of getting used to the size of those guys as well. You know, 6'4" middle blocker, 6'5" middle blocker, and then along with some overall like high level athleticism from those female athletes, hitting the ball close to 60 miles an hour. That's a lot when you're standing 15 feet away. I know it's something that I wish I could do, but I can't. I'll just let them do that. But I was really proud of our resilience. We did have Macy Blackburn go down in the first set, and I'm pretty sure we only had 3 points on the board during that time. And I got to be honest, as a coach, and you only have 3 points and they've got 20, that's embarrassing. So to be honest, I was thoroughly embarrassed on how we were performing. But when she went down, the embarrassment went away. Because you have a 4-year starter, 4.0 kid, and a leader, and it doesn't matter. It's a sport. It's a game. These kids are people. And good news is she's gonna be back. She's gonna be back. Just don't know exactly when. She will be back by the end of the season, or hopefully halfway through through the season. So she's in good spirits. Her pain went away from her patella dislocated in that moment. And then, you want some water? Okay, go get some water. Too much sugar cookie. But the good news is, go get some water. There you go. The good news is she'll be back. Bright shining star. We have this 6'4" lefty right side from Chicago, Illinois, and she looks like a Big Ten kid, and she played like it last night. She's a true freshman. Okay, you want back. It was good to see her play against people her size, because we don't have anybody her size on our team. But having a lefty on our side of the court is great. But she's got our attention. I expect to see her play quite a bit this weekend. We're looking forward to this. We've got an old Southland Conference foe coming in, and excited to see those guys. They were able to go to the NCAA tournament last year for the Southland Conference. Lastly, we've got Colorado State on Sunday. It's the same scenario where we've got 4 matches in a weekend. Colorado State is actually a little bit bigger than Michigan State, and they're definitely better. Definitely better. The good news is we don't have a 6.5-hour, 7-hour bus ride through the windiest part in the state of Arkansas in the middle of the night. And so we're looking forward to competing. We'll be nice and rested, and we'll be managing. They've gotten 2 days off today and tomorrow, so they'll be raring to go on Wednesday. So I can't say thank you enough to all you guys that came out. The Pack and the Prince, we added some fans in there to help with some air movement. That was thanks to the physical plant for doing that, and help with our admin to get that going. But electric atmosphere, the student section, holy cow, it was amazing. And as you guys know, the Prince Center is definitely different. We'd much rather have that many people in there than going over the Fair Center, where it's a lot of open air. It's intense, it's aggressive, and it's very difficult for for the teams to communicate, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I hope to see you guys this weekend. So any questions or anything? Yes.
How did Newberry State size-wise compare with Mizzou and Illinois?
Illinois, it's only an inch or 2 inches. It's not dramatic. It's just that when they set the ball, it's very flat, and so the speed of it, they're already up there. Like, they just got to jump 3 or 4 inches, and then they can just hammer it down real quick. So the speed was there. That was the biggest difference, and just trying to catch up to it with some tired eyes. It's you get in the moment, and you have to adjust. And they did a good job, but they passed very, very well, and so we adjusted and finally played our game finally. So it was good. Yeah, but they're big monsters, as we say. So we'd do it again, just not back to back to back to back. So anyways, all right. Thank you guys. Go Bears.
You got to follow Kingston. That's not fair. Cutest guy in the room. As mentioned earlier, our cross-country teams will be out at Beaver Fork this weekend to open the season. Women at 8:30, men at 9:10. If you've never been out there, it's a great venue to watch cross-country. And you can't always say that about cross-country, because a lot of times they run and then they come back and that's it. They actually do loops out there, and there's shade trees to stand under. It's a great place to watch. Too bad, I believe the heat is going to be back by Saturday, but maybe it'll be early enough in the day where it won't matter. Coach Weaver's in a meeting today with his starter and his timer right at 12:15, so he couldn't be with us. He'll be here with us next week to wrap it up. As you know, our football Bears always play one guarantee game every season, money game, whatever you want to call it. We figured we might as well get it out of the way right off the bat this year. Head to Stillwater, Oklahoma on Saturday, take on the Big 12 Oklahoma State Cowboys. 6 p.m. at Boone Pickens Stadium. Probably going to be nice and hot over there as well. It'll be our second meeting with the Cowboys. We lost 32-8 back in 2015. We were within 17-8 midway through the third quarter, and they scored a couple on us. Coach Brown was our offensive coordinator at that time. Coach Greg Stewart, Stacks as we call him, our current defensive coordinator, was in the same role with us then in his first stint at UCA. We had 3 players on that team that went on to play in the NFL. 2 are currently playing. George Odom is currently with the San Francisco 49ers. Trey Smith is with the Denver Broncos, and Jonathan Woodard played 7 years in NFL and CFL. So we took a pretty good team over there last year. I think we're going to take a pretty good one this year. Oklahoma State was 7-6 a year ago. They lost to Wisconsin in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, whatever the name of that bowl is now, in Chase Field in Phoenix. They're still coached by Mike Gundy. You know him from the mullet and the look of. I want to ask you this: how many years do you think he's been there? Because I was really shocked. 19. I would have said 10 or 12. 19 years. I had no idea he'd been there that long, but he's still there. They've played 14 FCS programs during his tenure, and they are 14-0, as they're expected to be. Again, the game is on ESPN Plus and the Big 12 Now Network. Where's Garrett at? Garrett here? Do we have tickets still, Brad? Okay, so call Garrett in our ticket office for tickets if you want to go over. We'd love to have you over there. Looking forward to the nice trip over to Stillwater. It's a great atmosphere for football, as we know. We've been there before. It's an easy trip, so we hope to see a lot of you there. And again, the coaches show tonight at 7 o'clock at Walk-Ons. Now let's hear from Coach Nathan Brown.
Thanks, Steve. Unbelievable crowd, week one. It's awesome. Excited to be back. We've been working hard all off season, really for the greater part of a year now, getting ready for this 2023 football season. So we're excited to tee it up on Saturday evening, and obviously it's a privilege to be able to tee it up against a Power 5 Big 12 team, and that's an opportunity that, one, you recruit toward when you recruit young men and student athletes, but two, it gives us a chance to get our brand out in more of a national basis. I mean, any chance you get to play, similar to last year playing in the SEC against Ole Miss, any chance you get a chance to get that Bayard logo, an opportunity to put it in front of more faces and fans, we definitely take full advantage of that, and we're excited about that. One, we're excited, just like anybody is this time of year. You're 0-0. So when you're 0-0, there's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of, a little bit of unknown. There's a little bit of anxiety. I tell people all the time, I'm very cautiously optimistic right now. And when I say that, with a lot of anticipation on a successful season. I like our team. I think we've got the pedigree and the makeup to put a special product on the field. Again, that's to be determined. It's a lot of football is how you gel. It's can you put your egos aside? It's the ultimate team game. There's not a game, at least in my opinion, in sports that is you have to rely on your teammate more than the sport of football. And I like the makeup of this team. We've had a very competitive, a very tough, at times a very warm fall camp. But again, we're excited to now have the light at the end of the tunnel look bigger and bigger. We talk about that consistently on a daily basis. Every day that goes by, that light gets bigger and bigger. And so when you get to the point where we're at right now, you're tired of hitting purple and gray, you're ready to go hit orange and black. And so we're excited about that. I'm gonna run down real quick, and many of you have heard me, I've spoke at a couple of different things, but I wanna run down real quick, just a couple staff changes, a few position stuff, and talk a little more specifically on Oklahoma State. But as Steve mentioned, Coach Greg Stewart is going to be back for his second stint here as our defensive coordinator. I lost Coach Kitchens in the middle of the summer. He took a job at Ole Miss. Great opportunity for him and his family and to continue to climb up this profession. And fortunately for me, a simple conversation that I was actually, we were on a trip to the down in Florida with Dr. Teague and Matt Whiting, and we were down there watching our women's softball team play in the conference tournament. Coach Stacks was sitting there. His daughter was the starting third baseman for Jacksonville State. So he was at the game. They were playing as we were pulling up to watch UCA. Well, Coach Stacks and I, obviously, we talked a good bit through text, phone calls here or there. But I got a chance to probably talk to him for about 15 minutes right there. And not knowing that 2 weeks later I would have a job opening. Basically, I was talking to him about his life, where he was, what he was thinking. And he had sat out a year basically from coaching. I said, well, what are you going to do this summer? He said, I'm going to coach somewhere. I'm going to coach somewhere. I don't know where it's at yet, but I'm going to coach somewhere. And his wife Angie was sitting there, and she kind of rolled her eyes and said, he's coaching somewhere. I guess she wanted to push him on out, but he's a ball coach. It's funny. Now it's fast forward 2 weeks later, Coach Kitchens gets that opportunity. First phone call I make was to Stacks and basically said, hey, you remember when we had that conversation 2 weeks ago? You want to come back to Conway? And it didn't take much twisting his arm because of his experience the first time here. We continued to talk about the people, talked about the community. He's got 4 daughters. They had a great experience when they were in Conway. So it was easy to get him back, and obviously he's got a good crew to work with. Also, a new hire, our interior defensive line coach is Walker Ashburn. He is a former defensive coordinator for the last 3 years at the University of Arkansas Monticello. So he's got defensive coordinating experience. He will handle our interior defensive line, and excited about him. Coach Brooks Hollingsworth has been shifted to off the field. He's in a semi-retirement mode. Yeah, we need to give Brooks a hand, by the way. Yeah. He's put countless years, countless hours, not only for this program, but the sport of football, 40-plus years. And he finally, quote unquote, halfway hung the whistle up. He'll find a way to put it back on his neck. But I promoted Bailey Novak to tight end coach to take Brooks Hollingsworth's place. He was a graduate assistant for us last year. Great young mind, great young coach, going to have a bright future ahead of him. So a couple different coaching transitions. You'll get a chance to meet those guys. Obviously, a lot of y'all probably know Coach Stacks from the time before. You definitely know what his defenses entail. But get to know those men. They're good people. They're good coaches, but they're also good mentors for these student athletes. Talking a little bit about the team. We've got close to 90% of our production back from last year. And I've said it many times, that's fairly unheard of in the world we're in right now. College sports, college athletics, it's so easy to leave. It's so easy to have success and look for greener pastures. It's so easy to just, things not go your way, whether that's playing time, whether that's fit, whether that's coaching change, whatever that is, and just leave. And what we've been fortunate enough to do is treat our guys right. And I think we treat our guys like men. I think that we treat them tough, but we treat them fair, and I think they recognize that. And fortunately for us, we had a lot of guys that had the ability to return from the last couple of years that have had a lot of success and a lot of production, and they did return. And that's a testament to our coaching staff. It has nothing to do with anything other than great relationships with our coaching staff and a great community here in Conway, and obviously the education at UCA. Because a lot of these kids in the world we're in could have probably went and played at bigger schools. And so we were fortunate enough to keep these guys, and that's a big deal. And that's something we're obviously excited about. And that to me is a headline, because that shows we have experience. That shows that, yeah, we were a 5-6 football team, co-ASUN champs, we won a championship, all that's great, but we talk about it every day. We left meat on the bone. We didn't win a couple close games that could have pushed us into the playoffs, that would have gave us an opportunity to play for something bigger. And these guys feel the heartache of the loss. They felt those tough losses, but they also know what the triumph of victory feels like too. And so when you're not having to teach guys those emotions, when you're not having to teach guys what the culture is here at UCA, they've been here, they've done that, they know the expectations, they know what I expect, they know what their coach expects. They know what it's like to go to a class and keep a normal routine, a normal schedule, then you should be able to see more and more success as they continue to grow and mature and get another year under their belt. So something that we definitely don't take for granted is getting those guys back. It starts with Will McIlvain at quarterback. I'm a quarterback guy. I played the position. From the Pee Wee level all the way up to the NFL level, you're going to tick as your quarterback ticks. Your quarterback has to be sharp. He has to be successful. He has to be a team leader, and then he just has to have ice cold veins, because that's the toughest position in the world to play. There's more pressure put on the quarterback than any other position in sports. And what we're excited about is Will is in year two in our system. You don't see very often a guy take a step back from year 1 to year 2. Usually there's a significant step forward. And so we are seeing the benefit and the reward throughout spring ball, throughout camp, and now leading into game 1. of Will McElvain playing with a ton of confidence. We know what we recruited when we got him out of the transfer portal. You saw the big plays. You saw the plays with his feet. You knew he could make all the throws. And he did it at times last year. And we'll be the first to tell you, and I've said this many times, he'll tell you, if I played better in this game or this game or this game, we probably win the football game. But there was a 6-7 game stretch there where Will was one of the most efficient passers in the country and was the most efficient passer in those 6 or 7 weeks in the conference. So we know he can do that. Again, it's our job to be creative. It's our job to put him in a position to be successful. But at the end of the day, I tell the quarterbacks this all the time, you have the pen last. You make the coach right, right? You make me right. You make Coach Collins right. And he understands that. And he's excited about that. I think he's developed a great rapport with his offense. I'll start out since I'm talking about throwing the football at receiver. Our three leading returning receivers are back from last year, starting with Gerard Barnes. Gerard Barnes is going into year 7. Yeah, you heard me right. He's got 2 degrees. He's mature beyond a lot of his teammates. Because he's got age on him. But Gerard is an electrifying athlete. He's great in the receiver room. He's also an electrifying returner, especially on punts. He's a preseason All-American punt returner and at just about every poll. So we're excited to have Gerard back. Christian Richmond, who's been here for years, he's also going into his 5th year. Will be one of our starting slot receivers. He comes back with 100 catches in his career, also an electrifying kick returner. He had 2 kick return touchdowns last year. So you're talking about between Gerard and Christian, not only the ability to catch the ball, but they're also elite returners. We manufactured 4 return touchdowns last year. I don't know what the numbers are, but I would doubt that there was many teams at the FCS level that had more than 4. So when you can manufacture points on special teams, which Coach Scott does a great job with our special teams as the coordinator. That's a huge deal too. And then the third guy I wanted to mention was Miles Butler. Miles Butler is back. He was our 3rd leading receiver last year. You saw moments and flashes last year that looks like he could be the next great one in line. When I say the names Desmond Lewis, Desmond Smith, LaJuan Winningham, Tyler Hudson, he's in that same category as far as ability goes. And I think he's poised and excited and has put the work in to take the steps this year to be a bona fide #1 receiver, especially in this league. So those 3 are going to steal the headlines of the wide receiver room. We feel like we've got plenty of depth behind them, quality depth behind them. I mean, guys like Ty Berry, guys like Trustin Oliver, Jared Long, you're going to see guys that are going to have to step out throughout the year and make big plays. Malachi Henry's a name to remember, a true freshman from Van Buren, Arkansas. He'll be playing next Saturday. He's mature and looks like a next really good receiver as well. So, but where our money's made and where you're going to win a championship is running the football. Yeah, I said it, Woody. Running the football. You excited about that? Yeah. I figured. We got to run the ball, and we feel like we're as big and strong and physical on the offensive line than we have been. And look, we've got 4 of our 5 returning starters back from last year. We lost an all-conference player in Jalen Hendricks, who was a 3-year starter. But we returned Justin Larry, Frazier Rose at the tackles. We returned Will Diggins, who was the ASUN Freshman of the Year at left guard. I mean, you don't just make that up. I mean, he was Freshman of the Year. He made that big of impact on the offensive line, as well as Jacob Cox at center. You'll see a guy like William Mayo, Bakarius Collier, Jamal Mole. We've got really, really talented guys up front that just get in the way. Get in the way and keep Will off the ground, because we feel like our success and our strength is our running back room. Gets me excited. I actually can't sleep at night because I'm so excited about it. Darius Hale's back for year 3. He's a 2-time All-American. He's got 30-plus touchdowns in his 2-year career. He was on pace for another 1,000 yards last year. Didn't play the last 2.5 games with injury. He's back fully healthy. He weighs 235 pounds. He's just as big, just as strong, maybe a hair faster than he was a year ago. He's got a little extra motivation on him because he's got to work every single day because that running back room is pushing him. Kylan James is back. He had 1,200 yards of total offense last year. Had 600 yards, 600 or so yards rushing, 700 or so yards receiving. just a guy that you can move around, be creative with, put the ball in his hands, and good things tend to happen. And then we were fortunate enough in the transfer portal to bring in a guy by the name of Shunderick Powell, who was the co-ASUN Offensive Player of the Year at North Alabama last year. He rushed for over 1,600 yards, I think 18 touchdowns. He's the fastest kid on our team. He's not as big as Darius and Kylan. Darius and Kylan are big backs. They're 230-pound backs. Shunderick's probably a $175, and that's when he's soaking wet and has pads on. But he runs big. If you watch film, if you watch games last year, even if you watched us out here against them, now we got after North Alabama, but he still scratched out 160 yards against us, and he ran a very physical 160 yards because we were coming to hit him. He runs behind his pads. I have probably, you old Bear fans can probably relate to this. He had a short stint here, but reminds me, I've not seen anybody with his lateral movement since Bernard Scott. Bernard Scott transferred to Abilene with Coach Collins when he went to Abilene and ended up being a 5th-round draft pick by the Bengals, played 6, 7, 8 years in the NFL. But he was Freshman of the Year in 2004 here with the Bears. So reminds me a lot of the way B. Scott played. So he's got a huge upside. And then there's Isaiah Broadway, and I tell people this all the time, our 4th, 5th, and 6th backs are pretty darn good too. And they don't get a lot of headlines because of those top 3 guys. But we've got a stable of running backs. That's a testament to our recruiting. That's a testament to Coach Gunnell and the way he recruits and treats those guys to continue to keep that room very replenished with talent. So we're excited about that. Defensively, it's headlined by our 2 defensive ends. David Walker, who was obviously the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year, basically getting every headline there is, every preseason All-American list there is. He's deservingly so on them. Logan Jessup, who's no slouch on the opposite side. He kind of gets thrown to the back burner. I give him a hard time all the time. Like, man, you of course, if you know Logan, he doesn't care. He'd rather be back in the background, just basically picking up his lunch pail and going to work. But between Logan and David, those 2 defensive ends are special. They're special, and we need to enjoy them while we have them. Very, very, very talented young men. So similar to the run game on offense, defensively, if you've got a pass rush and a defensive line, you can win championships, and those guys obviously headline that. Obviously, a ton of depth on the defensive front. Expect big things out of Stephon McGlon inside. Bradley Clark inside. There's several other guys at defensive end that have stepped up. Sam Horton, Buck Cobbs. I mean, there's some young guys that are going to come in and spell those guys. But we feel like we're in great shape on the front. We made a position move with Jake Golday. He wore number 34 last year. He was actually D-Walk's backup. One of the first things Coach Stacks did when he got the job, he watched us work out for about a week, and he just kept seeing Jake out there running, and he's like, "Who is that gazelle?" And I said, "Well, that's David Walker's backup." He said, "No, he ain't." He said, "No, he's going to play. he's one of our best 11. He's going to be out there." So what we did is we moved Jake Golday. He'll be wearing number 10 this year. He's about 6'4", 245 pounds right now. We moved him to will linebacker. So he's standing up. We'll still pass rush him some and some packages and do some different things with some personnel stuff. But he's kind of went to that second level with Demetrius Charles, who was our second leading tackler last year. He's back at linebacker, along with Kendarius Moore and Darren Davenport, along with several others. So very, very talented group in that second level. And I think Jake just elevated that when making the move to putting him into that second level group. On the back end, we feel like we've got as much depth as we've had. We really didn't lose a guy in the secondary to graduation or to transfer. That's headlined by Tamarian Wilson. You guys may know him, or I call him T-Bird. T-Bird was a leading tackler last year in the ASUN conference. Our defense funnels our scheme funnels the ball to our boundary safety. That's where T-Bird plays. He's a preseason All-American. He's going to be a young man that has a chance to make money one day. If you see him in person, he's 6'2", 210 pounds. I mean, he looks the part. He plays the part as well. And then Cameron Godfrey as well at safety. Cameron's a guy that's, he's going into his 6th year, and he's a guy that's going to be close to 400 tackles for his career when this year's all said and done. I mean, he's been our leading tackler, I think, twice. He's played 3 different positions. He's going to start out at our nickel spot this year, but we can move him around. And then Trey Green is at our other opposite safety. He played a lot of football for us last year after transferring from Arkansas State. TD Williams is back at corner, one of our starting corners. He actually played more snaps than anybody on our team last year. I didn't realize that until I did our self-scout study in the offseason. He played close to 700 snaps last year at corner. And he doesn't get a lot of headlines, but man, that dude's solid. He's a great football player. He'll wear number 6. He is a very, very, very good football player, great corner in this league. And then our opposite corner will be a transfer from Ouachita Baptist. Andrew Hayes will be our other starting corner, along with James Jordan filling in, Stephen Edwards. I could go down the list with names, but we feel very confident about that group coming back. And then special teams, that's always the third phase, right? We just talked about returners earlier. We feel like we're very confident with our return units. Don't want to see the punter a lot, but we feel like we've got a great punter back, Chandler Coffron, right? He's preseason all-conference guy in the UAC. He's a guy that will average around 40 to 42 yards a punt. Great at placing punts, putting it on the sideline, not giving guys a chance to return with good hang time. So we're excited about him. Kyle Gassaway will be our starting snapper. And then our starting kickoff guy will be Jake Ward, who's been our kickoff guy for the last few years. Jake Ward will assume those duties. And then Jake Gaster will be our starting kicker, okay? We brought him in from Trinity Valley Community College. He was a junior college All-American, actually a first-team junior college All-American, so we kind of stole him, got in a recruiting battle. You don't tend to think recruiting battles with kickers, but we won a recruiting battle for him, and he has came in and been very consistent, which is important because Hayden Ray just left as one of our all-time leading scorers in program history. So there was a hole that needed to be filled there immediately. So that's kind of the quick rundown. I mean, I know all these guys now. I could go down the list and names and love them all, and every one of them have worked hard. And there's going to be a dozen names that I probably don't even think are going to be impact guys, just like every year they're going to all of a sudden show up and be like, whoa, where'd that guy come from? So I can't wait for you guys to get to know this team. I challenge everybody every year, like, get to know the face behind the helmet. They're good kids. They're great kids. They work hard, and they represent the purple and gray, the city of Conway, the community of Conway, and the university to the best of their abilities. And look, we're excited about the challenge on Saturday night. Like I said at the beginning, when you recruit young men, you recruit for games like this. Hey, we're getting a chance to play Oklahoma State. We've got North Dakota State week 3. We've got Arkansas State on the future schedule, Missouri on the future schedule. That's what players want to play, because there's a chip on everybody that's underneath us in that locker room. There's a chip on their shoulder for a reason, right? They feel like maybe they were under-recruited, they were undervalued, they didn't quite get the offers they wanted, or they bloomed late. Whatever that looks like, they want the opportunity to play against some of the best. So we get that chance on Saturday. One of the most consistent programs over the last 2 decades is Oklahoma State. And that's a testament to, one, Coach Gundy. I mean, from afar, I respect the heck out of that guy. He's a guy that's kept his job since 2005. That's his alma mater. I mean, look, a lot of similarities in what I'm trying to do here is what he has done there. And I think that's why they have been so consistent over the years. He stuck it out. His name comes up every year for jobs, but he always goes back to Oklahoma State. And it's pretty special, and they've created something special there. And so that to me, you're always going to be able to expect a high-powered offense. You're going to be able to expect him giving coaches opportunities that maybe people think shouldn't get an opportunity. And for instance, his defensive coordinator is brand new this year. He brought his defensive coordinator in from Gannon University. That's a Division II program in Pennsylvania. So our offense, all we've been doing is we've been watching Gannon University film. Haven't hardly watched any Oklahoma State film because we're preparing for him. That's a guy that Coach Gundy gave an opportunity to get himself up the ranks. And so my respect level for that man is unreal, what he's done with that program. Obviously don't know him personally, look forward to meeting him and shaking his hand. But make no mistake, we had a good conversation last night, a very pertinent conversation last night after practice. We're going over there to win the dang game. And we feel like we've got a roster and a team that can go compete. And our goal is obviously get through the initial surge. That's what you've got to do with these first games, with these big games, with these FBS games. Get through the initial shock and awe. Get the jitters out. You know, get the mistakes out, and let's see what happens if we turn this into a 4-quarter game. Because I've been a part of games like that. I've been a part of FBS wins, and when you get it to the 4th quarter, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so that's what we're looking forward to on Saturday is let's go swing our shot. There's no pressure on the Bears. Let's go swing our shot. Let's see what happens. And we're going to swing for the fence. And I think we've got the unit. I think we've got the young men. I think we've got the poise and the swagger the confidence to go over there and swing our shot. And a lot of that is due to having so much experience and knowledge and experience back. I mean, that's a big deal in the world we're in. So they put their pants on one leg at a time. They tie their shoes just like we tie our shoes. They play in front of more people. That's fine. That's fine, and that's part of being a part of Power 5 and Big 12. But we're going to go over there and we're going to try to put on a show for the Bears, and we're excited for that opportunity. Looking forward to this season. Unbelievable schedule. 6 home games. Couldn't be more excited, right? Now we start out on the road. The front part of this schedule is probably our most difficult stretch. Let's get through September fighting and swinging and see what happens when we get to October. We've probably got 2 of our first three weeks are probably the most difficult schedule in FCS football. I mean, you open with Oklahoma State in week 3, you go to North Dakota State, the premier program at the Division I FCS level. But that's why you coach. That's why you play. You do these things for these opportunities, and I know we're going to make you guys proud. And we're excited about it. But again, 6 opportunities. Let me tell you guys something. If you had a chance to come over here for that pep rally, first day before class, welcome week scrimmage we had Wednesday, unbelievable. We had to adjust time. I think we've moved it back an hour, but if you would have saw the amount of freshmen, the amount of students, the excitement and energy that our band has, our dance team, our cheer team, it was just an electric atmosphere for the 45 minutes to an hour we were out there. That gets me excited because that tells me on September 9th, when we come out here and we open against Texas College, that Bruce Street's going to be firing on all cylinders. Our band's going to be firing on all cylinders. Our dance and cheer teams as well as our football team. And then we're going to put a great product on the field and hopefully add a lot of life to that Saturday and get a win. So it's a great time. It's a great time to be a Bear. We're excited about this season, and we're looking forward to these opportunities. So any specific questions that anybody might have? Yeah, I think Alex Fodio does as good a job as anybody at our level of football, and frankly does a great job for our athletic department. I mean, bottom line, that him and his staff, I think if all the head coaches could echo what they do and the amount of time they spend and the intentionality they do it with makes all of us better. But he puts together a plan. Obviously coincides with me. We put together a year-long plan and then we go execute that plan. And I think this summer we spent a lot more time on the field. The NCAA allows you with OTAs, organized team activities for a couple hours a week. We utilize that more than we have in the past. I think that got us up to speed a little quicker, especially in camp. But man, if you follow him on social media, you see some of the things that our guys are pushing up, some of the squats and benches and power cleans, and just some of the functional movements that you got to be strong and win football games. I mean, it's unreal. But it wouldn't be possible if our players didn't buy into Coach Fodio and his staff. So we're definitely indebted to him and what they do and the time that they put in, because people don't realize that, like, we got off the field last night at 9:30, 9 o'clock. We do a Sunday evening practice. And I think him and his staff were training baseball this morning or somebody, I don't know. So he was back up here at 6 a.m. I mean, they're tireless workers. And it's so appreciated. And he definitely doesn't get, I tell our players this, and it's funny you say that because I'm kind of doing the same thing here. I said, Coach Fodio doesn't expect a thank you. He doesn't expect a thank you. He just wants hard work. Hard work is his thank you. So if our players give him hard work, that's what he wants, and that's what our players have done. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the world we're in, I actually did an interview this morning and was asked that how transfer portal has affected our recruiting and all those things. At the end of the day, we're gonna go get as many in-state kids as we can that can play at this level of football. I think when we turn the stones over in this state, it's very underrated. Kylan James, right? Mention him, Logan Jessup, David Walker. I mean, you could go down to Shunderick Powell. I mean, Gerard Barnes is an Arkansas kid. I mean, Jordan Owens, our starting tight end, McGee, Arkansas. I mean, there's just so many guys. Will Diggins, Bryant. I mean, there's so many guys within these state walls, but we're going to make a living in the high school still. high schools and junior college is what made UCA so special over the at least in the Division I era. As what sustained our success. So we will dabble. We will be opportunistic in the transfer portal. We will bring in guys like Shunderick Powell, Andrew Hayes, Mike Onraziki, guys like that. We'll bring those guys in, but we're going to make a living in the high school ranks and develop guys within. So, but it starts within our state. If you can't control your state and get guys, great players from your state, then shame on us. And so, proud of that. I think we've got 49 players from the state. I think I've counted that, maybe a little more now with some walk-ons, but it's something we take great pride in. Obviously, me being an in-state guy, I take even more pride in it. All right, appreciate you guys. Looking forward to it.
Welcome back. Thank y'all. Man, what an exciting time of year. This is just the best. The fall in Arkansas, you can't beat it. When it really turns to fall, right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got it. Hey, a couple of introductions I want to make. Erin Martin, stand up, wave to everybody. Erin is here she's from Denver, played at Boise State. She is our beach volleyball coach. Thank you, Erin, for being here. Jordan Johnson, stand up. ASUN softball pitcher of the year from Kansas. And she's going to be working in sports information this fall and then working with softball in the spring. So welcome both of you guys. Alumni Office and Foundation is here. Thank y'all for being here. They are hosting us this Saturday in Stillwater, 3 p.m. tailgate. If you need tickets, talk to Allison. She's here right now, so she can get you tickets for our tailgate. We'll all be there. It'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. I want to thank Ott Insurance for coming out today and supporting the Bearbackers. Y'all are welcome anytime. Thank y'all for being here. Really appreciate it. We're at our time limit, so I'll be brief today, but looking forward to seeing you guys every Monday, except next week will be a Tuesday. So we'll see you Tuesday, then every Monday after that, and it's going to be a great fall. So anything I've neglected, staff? Any questions from anyone else in the room? We're good? All right. Go Bears, go Sugar Bears, and Bear Claws up.